Hey everybody, I'm tour manager Paul Saborin. And I'm moderating the show today, and there's no table, so I'm reading off my laptop, literally. How y'all doing this morning? It's Saturday. How many of you were at either show last night or the night before? And how many of y'all were at both shows? Same people. Awesome. Then I don't have to do all of the super introductory setup. Here is the setup I will give you. Welcome to the family. I was up late. Welcome to the McElroy family Q&A. We are going to solicit audience questions via Twitter. If you would like to submit a question, please go to Twitter and use the hashtag #EmeraldMcElroy. It's written over here on this whiteboard. Emerald McElroy is also the brand new McElroy family member we are debuting this afternoon. We'll be choosing those questions, and I'll be reading from them up here. Thank you all again for coming out, being vaccinated, and remaining fully masked during this event, and for supporting live entertainment once again. Welcome back to cons. So without further ado, let us bring them all out in alphabetical order. Clint, Griffin, Justin, Rachel, Teresa, and Travis McElroy.
Can I just finish with Scaramouche, Scaramouche, will you do the fandango?
No, you can.
I shouldn't. Okay, I won't.
You should not. Okay. Welcome to the stage. I started to assemble a list this morning, and
Of what?
well, I'm going to tell you because it started taking really fucking long.
Sorry, Paul. Was moderating our panel too much work?
As a matter of fact, I'm glad you asked. So, since roughly 2010, the people on this stage have 5 regular podcasts currently running amongst themselves, Mabim Bam Taz, Schmanner, Sawbones, and Wonderful. 3 with extended family and others, including Still Buffering, Besties, and The Empty Bowl. 5 seasonal and other podcasts with other folks in the family, including Bake On, Run, Till Death Do We Blart. The McElroy brothers will be in Trolls World Tour, and Neat. They filmed a TV show of Mabim Bam in 2016. They have an animated TV series in development. They have published 2 books. Everybody has a podcast except you and Sawbones. 4 graphic novels, including 3 New York Times #1 bestsellers.
And 1 New York Times #3 bestseller, if I remember correctly.
A Marvel team-up run and a Marvel Journey into Mystery run. Numerous voice acting gigs. Several years worth of live tours in roughly 1,500 to 3,000 seat auditoriums, and have worked with numerous charitable events and organizations, including in their 2020 Candle Nights event, raised over $200,000 for Harmony House, a homeless organization.
Well, shit, dude. When you say it all together, it sounds really impressive.
I'm not fucking finished.
What?
He's got to mention our failed TV show.
No, he already did.
I already mentioned it.
Okay, good.
I delighted over
He didn't
it.
use the word failed, but it was implied.
Okay, good.
I sort of went down in tone. This does not even count several of the people on this stage co-founding Polygon. There are numerous video projects, including Things I Bought at Sheetz, Carry On, and my beloved Monster Factory.
Hey, Paul, I really appreciate you including Carry On in there, a show which I think I made 3 episodes of and then stopped.
It was on the website.
It counts.
I assumed it was a charitable thing for you.
Thank you.
They have Lin-Manuel Miranda on their speed dial. And of
At our
course,
beck and call.
I summon thee.
Lynn, could you give me a coffee? Thanks.
And obviously, most importantly, someone on this stage inflicted the berries and cream TikTok meme upon the world in 2021.
You were right to put that as the pinnacle.
Yeah. So my question for all of you then, to start things off while we wait for some questions from the audience, is what the fuck?
We got bored.
I'm going to start with Clint here. How much of this is nature? How much is nurture? Were they always go-getters or whatever the hell term you want to use for them?
Go-getters? No.
They were no-getters.
They were very. I tell you what, it was all kind of set up at the old dinner table. We tried to have dinner as many times as we could together, and that lasted until I think second grade. But in those early years,
That's when I moved out.
that's when Travis joined. It started up as a carny. No, it was always a competition to see who could make their mom laugh and see if they could make milk shoot out my nose. And I wouldn't
Even when he wasn't drinking
when I
milk.
wasn't drinking milk. So that was it was always competitive for laughter. So is that what you were asking me?
Sure, I was just trying to get a sense. Like, I mean, you guys have done a hell of a lot of stuff, and this is open to anyone. How much of it did you just sort of fall into and oops, now we're doing 2 podcasts, and oops, now we're doing 3, and oops, here's a book? Or how
Well-
much of it was an active pursuit?
Travis is only happy when he has like 8 fires to put out. So more podcasts and books and comics and all of that stuff is what keeps him alive.
That's true.
I think the clearest signpost is Justin and Travis both majored in theater, sort of collegiate on the collegiate level, and we all grew up doing community theater our whole childhood, and at no point during that, or as I was getting older, did I think like, oh, I'm going to perform for a living. But then we started listening to podcasts because we all had like different bad commutes and really liked it. And that was, I think those 2 things sort of came together to, oh, there he goes. Those 2 things kind of came together. I think that's like the only explanation I can give.
I think it is also important to note that a lot of that, we have people that work with us that help, like Rachel, our editor, and a whole team of people, including but not limited to Amanda and Sarah and all these people, that we are able to do a lot of those projects because there are people who we depend on and trust to handle things. So I don't want to make it sound like, yeah, we're just working our asses off 24/7. Like, no, they are. And then we say, like, I'm going to do this stupid thing. And they're like, okay, yeah, we'll
Sit in
figure it
front of a
out.
mic for an hour and go, ass. Oh, we done? Cool. Whew, bye. That was, whew, guys, that one was a...
Were there any
exhausting.
sort of specific turning points you can remember where you did a particular thing happen, or you reached a certain point where you realized, oh, crap, we need people? Or was
yeah,
it just sort of a realization across time?
Honestly, like doing live show booking was one, and I think that was when we did the live show in New York that we booked at the People's Improv, and it was like a 99-seat theater, and it sold out in seconds, but it's because there was only 99 seats in the most populated city in America, and tickets were supposed to go on sale at noon, and they put them on sale a half hour early. And then people were like, hey, what the hell? And we're like, you're right, that sucks. We'll do a second show that day. And then those tickets went on sale early and sold out before people could get to them. So we ended up doing 3 shows in the same day, and we thought, there's got to be a better way. And then we started working with adults, and they were like, yeah, there's a way better way. And we're like, oh, thank God.
We did our second show in Austin. We rented a basically like empty box.
Like a warehouse.
We didn't know that at the
warehouse.
time.
Box
No, we didn't
theater.
know
You
this at
guys
the
didn't
time.
rent an actual box.
We had to go like everybody there had to go like full Little Rascals, and like Sydney and I think some other folks were like out buying eggnog and cookies to like hand out to people. And
Our friend Justin Minsker handled the lights. Basically,
Yeah.
we walked up and a lady like handed us keys and said like, okay, just put these in the
I'll be
mailbox
back at
when you're
11.
done. Like,
See you later.
We tweeted, does anyone know how to like live produce audio?
yeah,
And like a coworker's brother lived in Austin. Fortunately, he was like, "Yeah, I'll come by and do it." And we're like, "Okay, is $40 okay?" Oh God! Also, the venue had 1 bathroom, so choice.
And we did 2 shows that day, and so we said like when we finished one, we said please go stand outside for 10 minutes.
Because
And
it was all
then-
the same people. They bought tickets. Anybody who bought tickets to show 1 was like, oh, and then we can just watch another one immediately after. So everyone just walked outside, stood there for 10 minutes, walked right back like we were doing a fucking fire drill.
we have a limited sliver of competence, I guess is what we're saying.
I'm going to switch to a question. Oh, well, first of all, I will mention we are very sorry that we couldn't have Sydney with us. We miss her, and we're
Yes.
Yeah.
I miss Sydney terribly, and I'm ambivalent about my children. Actually, can I tell you guys a story real quick? Because we got time. Sydney called me and told me that Cooper's our 3-year-old. Cooper wanted Sydney to paint her nails, but she wouldn't do it regular. She wanted to hang her hand over the back of the couch so it looked like a ghost hand. And so Sydney was painting ghost hand, and she said, "So ghost hand, why did you live in our house?" And ghost hand said, "My home was destroyed." And Sydney said, "What do you mean? Your home was destroyed?" And then ghost hand said, "Superman destroyed my home." She said, "Wait, Superman destroyed your home?" "Yes, Superman destroyed my home." "Well, I thought he was a nice guy. I can't believe this. Did he at least say he was sorry?" "No, Superman destroyed my home and then poofed away." She's like, "Well, he destroyed her home and poofed away? That's terrible." And then Ghost Hand said, "Yes, and Superman killed my parents." So he said, "Superman killed my whole family. Superman killed your whole family?" "Yes, and then he poofed away." So that's the real, if you see Superman around here, that's the real dirt on that guy.
I'm going to go ahead and say that is non-canonical.
Yeah,
No, actually, that sounds a
non-canonical.
lot like the Snyder Cut. Actually, now that I think about it.
I brought Sydney up also to switch to a question for the McElroy spouses on stage right now.
Which is how they prefer to be identified.
I mean, yeah, technically, Paul, that describes all of us.
You could tell that my wife is not here because I give no shits.
These
I'm
spouses
just throwing pipe bombs.
for the spouses of natural-born McElroys who are here with us tonight.
Much cooler way of
Thank
saying
you.
it, Paul.
Very
Nice.
natural.
Really rolls off the tongue.
And with a slight xenophobic flavor to it.
I'll tell you what, these pronouns today, am
If
I right?
only someone would give the 2 women on stage names, it would make it so much easier.
They don't pay me enough for this gig.
Nothing? $0?
Teresa and Rachel and the disembodied spirit of Sydney. Obviously, to everyone here, there is a unique family dynamic to the McElroy clan. And I don't know the context of when you each met and how long you were dating before you got married. But if you can speak a little bit to your encounter with this particular dynamic among these four, I would be very interested in hearing sort of your impressions of the McElroys.
I guess chronologically, then that's my turn first,
Sure.
right? Because Sydney and Justin knew each other growing up, and I didn't know him growing up.
Well, she had a poster of me on her wall, but other than that,
That's a damn shame, Teresa. He was a real lady killer.
Tearaway pants and
pictures.
everything.
As far as our story, we like to talk about how I met Travis when he dated my roommate. We were both unattached when we did finally get together, and you know, he was living with Griffin at the time. And
I wouldn't call it living, what we were doing.
we were getting by.
And I was working as a lifeguard and a children's theater actress in Cincinnati. And Griffin got the itch to move. He wanted to go Chicago, right?
Yes, that's right.
With some friends of ours. And originally, Travis and I were also going to go. And then we went on a date and both told each other the terrible news that we couldn't move to Chicago, like pretty much at the same time. We were like, "Oh man, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to tell you this. I know I said I could, but I can't move to Chicago. I'm not ready. It's too much. I just can't." We basically said that at the same time to each other. So then we had to figure out how to live in Cincinnati without our friends.
Yeah, so we moved in together after dating about 3 months. And the decision there was like, well, if we're going to move in together, I think Teresa said if we're gonna move in together, I need to know if we're gonna get married. And I was like, oh yeah, definitely.
I didn't put like any kind of timestamp on it or anything,
But
but
at some point. Oh, you're also missing the part. So mine and Teresa's first date was I wanted to hang out with her, but I didn't because I'm basically 14. I didn't want to ask her. And so I was like, yeah, a bunch of people are getting together. It's going to be a big group date. I'm 14 years old. It's going to be like a big group thing. And she was like, oh, yeah. But she was the first person I asked. And then everyone else was busy. So I made Griffin go. And Griffin said, like, it's going to be weird. I was like, it is not going to be weird. And he was like, it is going to be weird. It's just like you and the person you're on a date with and me. I was like, it will be fine.
It was an unorthodox technique, to be sure, to say, like, this is my wingman.
I brought him.
And he's going to, like, we already got the date. Yeah, I know, but I got to have my wingman.
well,
And
you
now
know.
we're married, so I guess it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, so several years later, we had both been working still in Cincinnati, Travis at the Shakespeare Company, and very soon also myself at the Shakespeare Company. You know, true to form, we got married in a theater.
But not the one we worked at.
Hey.
And now we've got kids.
Now we got kids, but I guess the best part about being now absorbed into the McElroy
The hive mind. Assimilated, you can say it.
indeed is really like the holiday get-togethers, because you know their podcast. I'm sure you guys do. It's just like that. They are constantly doing that to each other, just trying to crack each other up. Sometimes, frankly, it's exhausting and I need a nap. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Fair enough. Rachel, how about you?
Rachel, when did you meet me?
So I lived in Austin, Texas, starting in 2008, and in 2009 I did AmeriCorps, and I met Justin Minsker, who's from West Virginia, and he was like, "Hey, my friend Griffin is going to come for South by Southwest. You should listen to his podcast." And so I listened to a few episodes, and then
It wasn't for her.
I was like, this guy talks about his intestinal problems a lot.
And it is turning me on.
I did, okay, but I will say, I think, set a pretty realistic expectation for you.
And he also, like, every episode was like, oh, I'm single and lonely.
Some people say that was some of my best stuff.
And then in 2011, Griffin came for South by Southwest, and I was single as of about 4 or 5 months. I had been in a long relationship, was just recently out of it, and wasn't sure if I wanted anything serious. And then Griffin and I met, and we spent pretty much every day together while he was in town. And then Justin had sold it as like, Griffin is definitely moving here, which now looking back is not unusual for Justin,
Right.
Because he's one of those people that just makes a decision and states it as fact. And so I thought, like, oh, cool, like Griffin's gonna be my good friend when he moves here. And then we started emailing, and then we emailed pretty much every few days from
Yeah.
like March until when you moved in July to Austin. And I
You
realized
guys had a reverse You've Got Mail.
Yeah.
Like a normal thing.
and I realized, like, oh, he's going to move here, and like it's probably going to be serious. Like, you don't email with somebody this long for like a fling. Like, if I'm going to be with Griffin, like it's going to be a serious relationship. I need to figure out what I want. And Griffin got to Austin, and I was like kind of gun shy because I had just gotten out of a long relationship. And then he went home briefly for a funeral, and then was coming back to Austin. And I had been talking to my friend. I was like, I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know what I want to do. And she was like, well, you just got to kiss him, and then you'll know. And so, like, when he came back, I was like, all right, today's the day. I'm going to kiss him. I'm going to kiss him, and I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to kiss him, and then I'll know, and then I'm going to figure it out. And
then we Frenched hard.
And it was funny because after we did smooch,
Hard.
Wait, before you were
it was
married?
funny. And it was funny.
It was a side smooch. It's okay.
Griffin was like, so I'd really like to hang out with you again. And I was like, well, yeah, of course. Like, I made the decision to kiss you, and now we're going to be together. Like, I have made the decision, and now it is final. Yeah, and I think, so we started dating in July, and then I went home for Christmas with you the following December. And before that, everyone came in town for that Austin live show.
That's right, yeah.
Not me. Wow, wow.
Yeah, not Teresa. And I made cookies, I remember, because I was like trying to, be the cool girlfriend. And then we all played things together. Yeah. And I feel like Travis and I wrote the same joke.
There was what's the worst thing to find in a sandwich? And I wrote another sandwich. And Rachel wrote another sandwich but haunted. So good.
So good.
And I was just really like touched because I felt like it was my job to impress them, but I realized like they were all trying to impress me. And that was like a real sweet moment for me of just like, oh, they want me to like them. Like I thought it was my job to get them to like me. And it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of been that way ever since. It's just like, I haven't ever felt like an outsider. I haven't ever felt like I'm not part of the family in any way. And it's just been really good.
Yeah,
Griffin just dated a lot of clunkers before you. And we were just so glad.
I would push back against the idea that like the people that we fell in love with and married were absorbed. Like we were some sort of like wandering like amoeba just absorbing things.
The gelatinous cube that
Right,
is our family.
because we all were, we all changed on an individual level, and the group dynamic of like how we do holidays and how we all spend time together has changed dramatically too, as we have expanded the operation. So yeah, I mean it's a symbiotic sort of thing.
I can cover Sydney's real quick.
Yeah, do the voice. Do the voice.
Sydney saw me across a crowded room, and she just sort of blindly wandered towards you. She couldn't see anybody else, she says, and she got in, like, right in front of me, and I'll never forget this. It was so sweet. She looked me right in the eyes and said, "Finally, I have purpose." And I was like, "Hi, I'm Justin." It's a little forward, but she said, "Whatever it takes." And I didn't know what she meant, but in a way I did. She was
I'm
like,
sorry, for my
Are you going to shut this down?
No,
Gonna
no,
be
I
She's
was
like, "Whatever it takes."
This is the next 33 minutes. I'm
Yeah,
waiting to see where
whatever it takes.
But seriously, just to set the scene, what song was playing?
What?
What song was playing?
It's a song that she wrote right there, said, "Justin, whatever it takes."
Awesome.
And it was just sort of rhyming on that, like, "No more fakes, I'll bake you cakes.
Yeah.
My thirst, it's lakes."
Now, was this before or after you
We
went
need to
away
buy rakes
Before or
because it
after
was
you went
fall.
away to summer camp without telling her, and then just didn't talk to her for, I believe,
I
like
don't
a
want.
month?
I didn't realize this would be like a personal kind of panel. I thought it would
All
be
right.
all sort of goof.
I'm going to actually moderate here for a second.
Please.
Yeah, we're already halfway through. Time for you to start doing your job,
Did
Paul.
you get that, Sid? Okay. May I tell you real quickly about my first encounters with
Please do.
with my daughters-in-law?
Oh, I thought you were going to say with your sons.
No. First time
We
I
were
met
Gucci
Teresa,
and wet.
First time I met Teresa, she came to town, and Travis wanted to show her the home he had grown up in. So we met there. I hadn't lived there for a couple of months. It was emptied out, only to find the glass in the front door broken in, and places where people have been sleeping on collapsed cardboard boxes and peeing on the carpet in the corner.
Now, there were also used condoms.
Yes, there were also used condoms. Somebody had been squatting in
And
that
then-
house.
Which was fine, all things considered.
We
but
didn't
it-
meet them.
Yeah.
No, yeah, they weren't there.
I actually think that would have been better.
Yeah, you called
They
ahead
would
to
have
make
been
sure
like,
they
hey,
cleared out."
man, we were just going to tour around. Don't mind us.
And then the first time I met Rachel, I forced her and Griffin to drive about a half an hour into the wilds of West Virginia to pick up a puppy that I was going to. Oh wait, yeah.
He ate it.
To pick up this cute furry little puppy that I was going to give my wife Carol for Christmas.
As a surprise.
Imagine you were meeting your boyfriend's father for the first time, and he says, "I got a little detour for us," and then he starts driving into the dark woods at night. And I thought,
it was way out there.
was this,
If it helps, he didn't have the beard at that point.
And it also is important to note, just for context in the story, they already had a very large dog.
Yeah.
So this was the second dog, and Dad, when asked about it, says, "I thought it's what she wanted." Based on what?
Well, the fact
Was she sitting there going, "There's just not enough in this house. There's not enough large beasts"?
And so I met Carol at the same time as Carol met this dog she didn't want. And so that was uncomfortable, I think, a little bit.
That dog is a beloved and respected member of the family.
he is, but at the time he was called the dog that ruined Christmas. Now
They
wait,
shortened it
in
to
Carol's
just
defense.
ruin.
You guys, they can't all be bangers, okay?
In Carol's defense,
Carol
it
needs
was,
no defense.
It was
She didn't do
Christmas Eve.
anything. It was all you.
Carol is the victim here. If she needs defending, it's from you.
Christmas Eve. It was probably about 8 o'clock at night. We were going to have a house full of these people in our house the next day, and I made Griffin carry him into the house to give to Carol.
I think you realized on the drive back to your house, like, is this a bad idea?
I think it is.
I better make Griffin do it, because maybe she'll think.
Recreate the moment, Griffin. Recreate.
Okay, I'm going to get to something a little more philosophical. This is based off of a question submitted by Sloan Miller. Hey! Who had the over-under? It was
Dad, the story
29
wasn't that good. Can't drop the mic.
Still working?
Yeah, look.
Oh, yeah.
Dad put on lotion for the first time, and it's changed his whole worldview.
Look how shiny. Look how shiny.
Also, please feel free to submit more questions. Again, use the hashtag Emerald McElroy. This is based off.
We'll try to move through them quicker.
This is all based off of Sloan Miller's question. You all, I mean, obviously, you all have your own lives and livelihoods and existences, but you also work with your family to some extent, and that is certainly can be a fraught dynamic. And I'm interested in both between the spouses and amongst the brothers and their father. Do you have any formal or informal sort of policies or methods in place to try and avoid pitfalls? Do you have any rules?
I would like one of the brothers to address the kidding on the square.
Oh yeah, so we there's a thing that we did that we call kidding on the square, where someone makes a joke and it's like, you mean that, like you clearly mean that thing you said, but you kind of said it in a funny way, and that is a thing that
That's what they do. That's how they address things.
And there's a little bit of like, what was that? And it's like, oh, they're really upset about it. Really? Because they said poop in that sentence. Like, yeah, but they're really mad. But I think we made a decision fairly early on, as things started to get more professional about it, that it was like, well, we're brothers first, and we're family first. And I know that sounds so cliche, but there was things of like, because we would like early days, we would get these weird phone calls where people were like, hey, have you ever thought about making a TV show? And we're like, no. And then
Yes, but we would only want it to be 6 episodes long, no longer.
and the network dies with it.
The network must die with it.
And if the network could be called something like Soupsy or something fun like that.
Oopsie would be a good one. And we would, and I would get really excited about these really, really dumb things that were bad ideas. And then we'd be like, well, at the end of the day, if one of us doesn't want to do it, it's not worth fighting over, because like we're family first. And that, I think, then kind of shaped the growth. And then it also reached a point, like we said earlier, where bringing outside people in and hiring people made it a lot easier, because, you know, you bring in collaborators, but also just the natural dynamic, like you were saying, of just like you form opinions of people throughout your entire life, where it's like, yeah, of course you want to do that. It's like, yeah, but that doesn't make it a bad idea, and that kind of thing. And so then having an outside person that we trust and say like, this is a good idea, and us go, okay, that's
Yeah.
great.
That's definitely, I mean, changed the game completely. But like, I also wouldn't frame it like it's been all smooth sailing like that. Because we disagree on.
And we fired the fourth brother that one time.
That's
yeah.
true. So to kid on the square, we disagree on stuff sometimes. And it gets, I think, particularly tricky when we are talking about big projects. When we are talking about two of us are like, hell yeah, let's do this. Let's chase down this TV show idea. And usually me, I want to just focus on the stuff we're already doing or the projects we've already got like sort of spinning. And I think that's sort of the most that the rubber kind of hits the road in terms of like tension between us in terms of like balancing that family and work stuff. But we're fortunate in that just like we talk about it.
Yeah.
And it has always resolved through that.
In a way, it's kind of nice because the dynamic is we feel completely comfortable pushing really hard on each other. Like, hey, I really want this creatively, or I really want this. We feel very comfortable, but we also have like a veto because it's like, what are we gonna do? Spin off? Like, it's stupid. Like, it's like if some person is dead set on not doing something, you don't get that upset about it. It's like, well, all right, that's the way it is. Like, it's very healthy because it's like I don't feel any sort of. We're very honest and open with each other. Like if we were on a business call when we're bringing people in that we haven't worked with before, and they hear the way that we talk to each other, sometimes there's not a lot of sensitivity for the others, like, feelings or whatever, because like I don't care if Travis gets mad at me. I'll talk to him tomorrow. Like it's like but that's like healthy creatively because it's like I don't know. I think I have the best idea. I'm going to try it, and we know we're always going to support each other on it. But like if someone's going to shut something down or doesn't want to do something, it's like, well, that's
just as much as like making stuff together is like gives us this great satisfaction and brings us together in such a huge way. Like even if we weren't doing this, I would still want you two to be like as frank with me as we get sometimes, because I'm not like that with anybody else really outside of this family.
Yeah.
And that stuff brings us together just as much as the stuff we make.
We fought against making this our jobs for years, and that was, I will say this, that was a big stressor, like one of the major stressors, because Travis went from Cincy Shakes to kind of doing this full time before Griffin and I did, because we were still at Polygon.
Like 2 years prior.
Yeah. And Trav went out to like LA and did some stuff out there, and
I did go with him then.
yes,
I went,
yeah,
I went that time.
And Travis was definitely like pushing us to do more stuff because this was his full-time job at that point. And Griffin and I think we're hesitant because we wanted this to be like something where, I mean, we said this from the beginning, like we wanted it to be something where if it got in the way of the relationship, we could just quit. Yeah. Like we could just quit it all, like stop, bail on it. And so we're really, really, really hesitant to make it our full-time job. We worked at Polygon for years longer than we probably needed to because we didn't want it to be our only source of income, because we wanted to be able to stop if it was hurting our relationship. And it just got to a point where it was like it's too entangled. Like it was just silly to try to separate the professional from the creative, or the professional from the personal, because it's all us. Like it's all us together. Like there isn't a reality in which we're like, let's not make things together anymore. Like it's like, I'm so mad at you, I'm going to go get a job at Circuit City. Like it's
I'm so mad at you, collaborator, that our children won't play together.
yeah, right.
Like,
yeah.
the cousins
Come on,
love-
kids, we're going home. We're Beatlesing. Come on, let's get out of here.
Let me ask, to break it down to your individual family podcast. I mean, you literally work out of your home for that, and your to a great extent, your individual relationships are your podcasts. How does that affect your relationship or your home life? You have kids. Do you? I mean, whether it enhances it or causes issues. I mean, do you have things like, we don't talk about the podcast once we leave this room, or anything like that? Or how has it affected your internal individual dynamics? And I'll ask Teresa and Rachel again to start off, because you guys have been talking too much.
The McElroy story.
I mean, it was a real game changer when Griffin decided to do this full time. Because I used to get really frustrated because when Griffin first started doing Adventure Zone, you were still working. And so he would be up until like midnight, 1 in the morning, prepping after he'd worked a full day. And I was just like, this does not seem sustainable. Like it was just very clear, like, this isn't good for you. This isn't good for our relationship. But we were nervous about him shifting because internet fame seems a little chancy.
Yeah, and I much rather would have stayed in the incredibly stable world of internet publishing.
Specifically, video games.
But that was like a paycheck that had like an insurance attached. It felt very like businessy to me.
Yeah.
I felt like that's real. But I was just very nervous about it. But now it is so much easier. Like Griffin is really usually done with work at like 4 or 5 o'clock. Like a regular person would be.
I think I can speak for everyone on stage and saying when we had kids, the math on all this bullshit we've been talking about on stage changed 180 degrees. Where like I feel pretty strongly like I sometimes just turn off Slack notifications after 5 o'clock because I want to hang out with my kids and not think about some question about the graphic novels or whatever.
That explains so much to me.
How we don't talk to you after 5 o'clock?
Yeah.
For us though specifically, like I think our show has never, Rose Buddies or Wonderful has ever like come between us in any way. It affects both of our moods simultaneously. Like when we were not having fun talking about the Bachelor franchise anymore, I think we were both kind of feeling the weight of that together. And then when we switched to Wonderful, we were both feeling like that uplift.
Well,
together.
and it is. I'm sure you all feel this way. It's like dedicated time for us to talk to each other as
Yeah.
adults and not about our children, which honestly, like sometimes only happens during the podcast. That
Inadvertent
day.
therapy. Nicely done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, like, when the main thing you have to talk about in your life is your kids, and we're like, hey, let's not talk about them specifically for like
Yeah.
45 minutes. And it's like, oh, right, this is great. And like, it's why we love doing Bake-On. I mean, we love doing Schmanners too, but Bake-On is like Teresa and I both being like stupidly passionate about the game theory of Great British Bake-Off. And it's like that kind of thing. I think it is worth noting that because Justin and Sydney started their podcast doing Satellite Dish. Was that your guys' first one together?
No.
Losing the Sheen? Was that the first one?
Losing the Sheen.
Right.
A 2.5 Men fan cast by people who hadn't watched the show until Charlie Sheen left.
Right.
Losing the Sheen. We did 9 episodes.
And then you guys did Rose Buddies, and now we've done Bake-On. And there is a weird thing of us that, like, let's watch TV and talk about it.
Yeah, we were the first ones to do that in
Yeah, we invented
podcasting.
that format. It can be
You heard it
really
here, folks.
hard. The difficulty. I always like doing Sawbones. That's always fun. It's God.
For
this
you.
is this. Yeah. Well, yeah. Sydney enjoys. I know she does. She's not here, so I'm trying to think of how to say this in a way that when you're married and you have kids and you also collaborate on something, it is very, if you feel like the other person, like there are times when like we'll get to the end of the week and Sydney hasn't had the time to get an episode together, and it's like you can't push on that the way you would a normal collaborative relationship because, well, one, like that's my wife and I know what she does because we have literally like exactly as many hours in the day. We record Sawbones at the same time every week because it's the time that Dad and Carol come over and watch the kids long enough for us to record Sawbones. Like we know exactly, like it's all definitely like scheduled out like that. So like if she hasn't had the time to do it, I can't get on her case about it because I probably dropped the ball. I could have done more to like make that happen, but that is tough to make about because like that free time doesn't come from nowhere. It comes from one of the two of us. So
I mean,
Okay.
that happens with us, where we'll sit there and it's like, sometimes it's, after the kids go to bed, it's time to record. And it's like, I don't want to. And you're not going to be like, well, we have to get in there. It's like, yeah, I don't want to either. Let's do it tomorrow. And like, that is a thing of like having to find that. And once again, it helped once we hired Rachel as editor that it was like, well, I feel bad now telling her like, hey, we got sleepy, so you'll have to cram it in tomorrow when you do all the other stuff too. And it's like, yes, now we have structure and we have to be professionals and do it. I also think I did want to touch on something that I thought about earlier when you said the families working together. It's worth noting that the podcast I probably listen to the most in the world is Besties. because I find, I mean, you know, obviously Russ and Plant are great, but I like listening to Justin and Griffin talk. I've watched every Polygon video. I have a Polygon video playlist of the just videos they've done together that I watch all the time because they are the two funniest people in the world.
It's sad though. He writes his own jokes to stay on top of it.
Yeah.
He'll
Wait,
like,
is that not normal?
he re-uploads hit. It calls it Monster Factory Travis's edition, and it's like
I have gotten used to it. When I do meet and greets, people often say like, "I just want to tell you how much I love Monster Factory," and I'm like, "Me too."
What is besties?
Okay. I feel like we would be remiss in these last couple of questions not bringing up that when we started doing Taz, Dad sort of joined that professional fold.
I was just about
Oh,
to
sorry,
ask.
sorry.
No, I was just about to ask, again, how did it affect your dynamic? How did you see things change, get better, get worse, get different when you started working with your children?
I went from being the pater familia and calling all the shots in my family's lives, them coming to me, Dad, we can't decide about this. Dad, should we get married? What about this mortgage?
When did Justin and I ask you that?
See,
It's a metaphor.
It was, yeah.
God
it's-
knows if I had mortgage questions, I would go to you 100%.
Yeah, up until about 2 years ago, I thought
Dad,
there
should I
was
get my wife a second
mortgage.
dog? What do you think?
It's a little odd to work for your children, and let's make no bones about it. I am their employee.
Dad, that is so unfair. You're a freelance contractor.
You haven't signed anything, and we haven't signed
Very
anything.
specific tax concern.
Yeah, West
Yeah.
Virginia is a right-to-work
You're an
state, as
we
I
call
understand it.
An at-will employee.
It's why we have you work 39 hours a week.
You, by the way, this does count as your break. I didn't want to be like, but you are.
All of
are
this, by the
sitting
way,
down.
more kidding on the square.
And let me tell you, the monthly reviews are a pain in the ass, but that's okay. No, I mean they have, and as long as I've known all five of these people, and as long as I've known Sydney, I mean they've been very, very strong decision makers, and they have, especially since getting married, have been good partners to their spouses, and I think that they work together as a team. And I'm like just overseeing. I sit there and look down benevolently.
That's
yes.
that's not 100% accurate.
That's right, because you won't take my calls after 5 o'clock. No, I love it. I absolutely love it. I have told them before. I mean, not to their faces, but the fact that I have the opportunity to do this, and to go on the tours and do the shows and do the podcast, it's great, and there's nothing wrong with feeling like you owe your children for making a lot of your dreams come true,
And back taxes.
and destroying a lot of them.
Yeah.
But,
It's a fair balance.
so-
So it comes out in the wash.
With this talk of children, it actually, again, relates to a good question sent in by Wooly Yaya. I hope I'm pronouncing
Sorry,
that
I just
correctly.
want to mention real quick.
Oh, sure.
I was laughing when Dad started talking because I got a notification on my watch that someone in my home made an announcement from Alexa, and the announcement was, "Ho, ho, ho, this is Santa Claus. Do I hear little children screaming in there?"
So things are going good at home, it sounds like. And frankly, that could have been from anyone in your house.
You all have kids, duh. And not to make this question about me, but having had experience as my wife married me not expecting to marry a full-time musician. I became one after we got married, and then we had kids, and that was not an expected dynamic in our household. What is your kids' respective understanding of what you do? And how do you explain it to them, or how do they, like, if someone were to ask them, have you ever heard them describe what mommy and daddy do?
He explains it to his teachers that I'm a comedian. And for
Which
father-
is also how I explain it to my in-laws.
yeah. For Father's Day, they did like a craft of a like paper tie, and you're supposed to write something on it. And he wrote "#1 comedian" and brought it home. It was very sweet.
That's awesome.
But sometimes, like when I'm doing we've been doing live virtual shows, and at night, like I do Henry's whole bedtime routine, which takes 30 minutes to an hour, depending on which night it is. And so he goes to bed right about when we start doing the shows. And so I like occasionally ask him, like, so I need you to do a real good job trying to stay in your bed tonight and fall asleep, because Daddy's got to do a show for lots of people. And now I think I've confused him, which is understandable. And some nights I'll be like, okay, buddy, sleep good tonight. And he'll be like, why, you doing a show?
It's fun. Like, I often think about this because there are times where I look at BB and I'm like, okay, Daddy's got to go work now. And work is like doing a Twitch stream or something. And then I think like, she has no idea what my job is. But then I realize she has no idea what most jobs are. She's 5, right? I think she understands like teacher and firefighter at this point. Like that's it. And if I was like, they're a neurosurgeon, she wouldn't be like, wow, way cooler than your job, Dad. Like she doesn't know. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to go get up and do a show. And she's like, all right, you have fun? I don't know.
Cooper told me she wishes I had a real job like other daddies where I had to leave the house. Which is actually like a multi-level. The more you
So
peel
much,
away, it's
yeah.
like devastation on devastation. Charlie, because Charlie has done the Charlie and Daddy show and created an episode of Taz, she only cares about that. So if we meet fans as they leave, she'll say, "Did they mention the Charlie and Daddy show? Do you think they watched it? Did they mention the Fruity Pebbles Castle of Torment, a scary castle with 100 rats?" She only cares about what I do in as much as it enhances her own professional career. She still does not understand. The other thing is, and pretty much every kid is like this, I think at this point, not every kid, but a lot, they're watching a lot of videos of families on YouTube that are always having more fun than yours. It doesn't matter what my job is because I don't build my kids a fucking gigantic Lego maze that they can look for different riddles in every day, that's full of LOL dolls.
We make sure when we watch those videos with Henry to pause them at moments where the kids lose focus for a minute, and you can just see the huge emptiness in their eyes.
Because that's what you want your children to do.
No,
That's
I say
fine,
this
too.
is why you don't. This is why you will not be doing a YouTube channel with us.
Okay, I see.
There are moments where like BB is like sitting in the room with me while I'm like doing a Twitch stream, for example, and she'll like come over to me to like ask me to play a different video on her iPad, and I just think like she doesn't care what I'm doing. Like at this moment, and it's like the fact that there are people watching, and it's like a thing. And she's like, yeah, but I do need a different. If you could just. Hey, put down the controller and start another pink song. I'll come back when I need another.
My kids do understand my job better than my Grandpa Dan does. Grandpa Dan came to me a few weeks ago and said, "Justin, you do something in the cloud, right?" I feel like my business could be doing more stuff in the cloud, and you do something in the cloud, right? My man doesn't know what the cloud is either.
That's like when we told my parents that Travis was an internet radio host.
That's the best way to
Good one.
describe it to me.
Every so often, my father-in-law will say like, "So are people still listening?" I'm like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Oh, okay."
You know what though? We struggle enough with like, for years. I don't like we didn't know what to call ourselves. Like because it just seems so. I don't know. We would meet real comedians. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to be self-effacing about it, but like we would meet actual comedians that do that for a living, and we didn't feel like we really fit in there. And I'll never forget this on the day that we started filming the My Brother, My Brother, Me, the failed My Brother, My Brother, Me TV show. Our showrunner, J.D. Amato, got us these compasses that had engraved on them professional comedian. That's stupid,
He's
but
very sweet.
it
He's a
really
very
meant a
sweet
lot
man.
to me because even now, though, that sounds, you don't want to say that, right? Like if Grandpa Dan's there, you don't want to be like, yeah, I'm a comedian. Strap in, because do you have any rubber chickens around the house? Because I'm about to get really wild.
Having the job that we have now really makes you realize how often you have to fill out your occupation on a form.
Yeah.
I get this lot. Podcaster. Huh.
Is that what you write? Wait,
Do you know what I write?
What do you write?
Author. I do, and then they say, "You're an author," and I say, "Yes, 3 New York Times bestsellers under my belt." I don't say that like, "Yes, I just did the dildo jokes for The Wizard," but still, I'm an author.
I write podcast producer, which I feel like it feels a little bit more official, but also isn't really my job title. But I can write it off like I'm a podcast producer in the same way that a cow is a milk producer.
Yeah. You milk your own udders.
Podcast comes out of my body.
I used to just write host for a while until I realized it made it sound like I was carrying a parasite.
Yeah, sure.
That's my professional job.
We have a few minutes left. I want to try and get a few quick ones out here.
Good luck.
Yeah, that should go over good.
Let me emphasize try. Theater Emily has asked, is there a chance that Rachel, Sydney, and or Teresa will ever want to play D&D with you? The question, I don't know if they're posing on a podcast or just at all.
I have played D&D with Travis and other friends, and they always get very upset with me.
In the right way. In the same way we get upset with Dad, where it's like, I don't think that's how the game's supposed to work. What are you doing? It's great though. She's
I'm like, this is a fantasy. I get to do what I want.
playing any game, but
I
especially
love you, daughter-in-law.
playing any game, but especially a game where one can win, like a competitive game with Teresa, is a joy. Because I've never met a less competitive person in my life who also ends up winning all the time. And like we played Settlers of Catan once, where she just destroyed like me and my friend Charlie and like other people, but me and my friend Charlie are 2 of the most competitive board gamers. And she was like, I don't know, I got the longest road. I'm like, how?
So Paul said he wanted to ask a couple of quick ones, and then he directed one at Teresa and Rachel. And then Travis is like, let me get up on this real quick. Hold on.
Rachel, any?
I am just very intimidated by it, honestly. I feel like the thing I think about a lot, and it's probably not important, but in my head it is that like everybody in the family has some kind of theatrical background, and I am the only one that doesn't. And so for me, I always feel like I'm figuring it out a lot, and so the idea of playing a game where you have to improvise a character and a reaction and potentially a character voice is like super intimidating to me. So like for a bonus episode during the Max Fun Drive, Griffin walked me through creating a character, and I realized how many opinions you have to like create a character. Griffin kept asking me these questions, and I was like, elf? Because
that was her answer for all of them.
Everyone.
Elf?
What's your favorite Will
Can
Ferrell movie?
Can I say, though, at the end of that episode, you had created like a water smuggling lizard woman, and I was wicked into it, and then we like role played for like 7 minutes, and you were like, you took to it really, really, really fast.
Yeah, I'd like to think, like, for as long as they have been doing it, you know, maybe 11 years from now, I will have the kind of confidence it takes to, like, do something like that. So, yeah, so hang around. 11 years, I'll be out there doing it, for sure.
Let me tell you my motto. Don't be afraid to fail.
And Sydney likes to play D&D.
Yeah, we played a couple of home games with the Smurls, where Sydney's, it's kind of frustrating to play with Sydney because she just wants to go to a bar and drink, and she says that's her character of Mossy the Barbarian. She just loves to go and drink, so it can slow the story down a little bit.
That is about all the time we have. Let me get through a few quick end-of-panel announcements. You can go to the McElroy family merch booth, number 607, for all of their various merches. Daily autographs and photo ops with the McElroy family can be purchased from Epic Photo Ops in the Sheraton or via the Emerald City Comic Con website. Tomorrow from 11 until noon, the Schmanners panel, yay, is happening in TCC-L3-R1R2. I'm sure you'll all remember that, with Travis, Teresa, and Clint. Happening December 18th is this year's Candle Nights event, another virtual event benefiting Harmony House. And visit the McElroy.family to find out more on everything that these folks do. Speaking on behalf of everyone in this room, as well as myself, I mean, I work with you and I know you, but I am also a fan. Thank you for everything that you all do.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you all so
It
much.
means so much coming from you, Paul.
We do it all for you, Paul, to earn your love and respect.
Yes.
You're like a dad to me, Paul.
Yeah, the father we never had.
Sorry.
Words hurt.
And that's the motto to go out on. Thank you all.
Words
Have a great,
hurt,
safe,
everybody. Words
excellent
hurt,
Emerald
everyone.
City Comic Con.